Today we talk about navigating budget pressures in IP law, strategies for efficiency. In today's competitive legal landscape, IP professionals face increasing pressure to deliver high-quality services while managing tight budgets. Drawing from insights shared by experienced in-house counsel at companies like Dolby Labs, eBay, and various healthcare startups, we analyze practical approaches to budget management, cost control, and resource allocation in the patent space. IP departments operate under various budget structures, each with distinct implications for resource management. The cost center models, which is the bulk of IP departments, these cost centers face regular scrutiny and zero-based budget exercises where every dollar must be justified annually. As Heather Woodward from eBay has noted, I need to justify every single dollar of my budget. And to your point, I have to be able to track every single dollar onto an IP asset, and I have to track every single asset onto a corporate initiative or roadmap. There's a pressure for in-house counsels to deliver value for the spend. In early stage companies, they face the same issue. Early stage companies do not have formal legal budget requirement. However, Ray Billy, the general counsel at an AI tech startup, has explained that as far as being at a 7-year-old private company, I have no legal budget. So every dollar I spend is over budget. So a common misconception among outside attorneys is that in-house legal departments have unlimited resources. However, in reality, corporate IP teams face rigorous oversight from the accounting department and from the CEOs. One attorney has noted that I think sometimes when you're in private practice, you think that in-house counsels just have these blank checks that they can just write and sign, but they don't. They have a lot of budgetary oversights. As an alternative to the cost center models, you also have the revenue generating models. At companies like Dolby Labs, the legal department isn't a cost center, but actively generate revenue through patent licensing and IP monetization. This model creates greater flexibility, but still requires careful stewardship. And regardless of if you are a cost center or a revenue generating model, cost control is important. So how do you handle the cost control issue? As most lawyers know, international patent protection represents one of the largest expenditures for IP departments. In-house attorneys can optimize these costs through a few approaches. First, we recommend that you have a strategic country selection. Rather than filing patents in every possible jurisdiction, companies should focus on markets with significant business operations, such as sales or production, or they face litigation risk. If you cut down your foreign filing, you can more US, European, and Chinese patent. And so that's a way of controlling your costs and focusing your resources very strategically. For example, uses an appendix system that categorizes countries into different tiers based on a technology's importance, allowing for tailored filing strategies rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. You can also consider the rotation system. For companies with single product lines, alternating jurisdictions can spread risk efficiently. Every third-party patent gets Japan, and every second patent go to Korea, and so on and so forth. And so that way, the rotation spreads the risk and not file every patent into a single jurisdiction. You can also manage your aging portfolio. Maintenance fees for aging patents can consume substantial portions of IP budgets, so you should do regular portfolio reviews. You systematically evaluate older patents against the current objectives to identify candidates for either being sold or for abandonment. Aging portfolio can eventually swallow your entire budget, and so therefore you should manage your annuity payments carefully. You can also deploy alternative protection strategies. So, for example, in China, you can file what is called super trademarks. And the Chinese copyright registration can function as a super trademark, offering broad protection, more protection than traditional trademark registrations at lower cost. These may not be silver bullets, but they are cheap and easy additional tools that you can use to protect your brand. You need to also reconsider the use it or lose it trap. So a common pitfall in budget management is rushing to spend the remaining funds at the end of the year to preserve next year's allocation. However, you might want to consider strategic underspending. Deliberately underspending in some years can strengthen the case for increased budgets when you truly need them. So, for example, in certain companies, the in-house patent counsel did not spend the whole budget, and there were compelling reasons why she did not do that. But in the current year, the in-house counsel required more, and she got the 40% increase in the budget for the subsequent year. And that was partially justified by the fact that she did not spend all the full budget in the 2 preceding years. And so there's credibility there in terms of the stewardship of the spending. You can also focus on quality over quantity. You can avoid filing low-value patents merely to exhaust the budgets. So if you have $1 million to file applications and it's in November and you spend only $600,000, do you need to go and shake out inventions that are unnecessary from Inventor so that you can file and burn and use up your budget? I think accounting departments will value the fact that you are a good steward of spending and you're spending less than projected, so therefore you can use that to argue that when you really need it, then it's important for them to accommodate your request. Another cost bucket is the Inventor Award Program. Managing Inventor incentive programs requires careful consideration. You need to have a tailored reward structure. As one example, Dolby uses a separate Inventor Award program for interns that aren't necessarily tied to patent filing and help to manage expectations and avoid patents without business justifications from non-employees, for example. For international filings, you can use a Big Mac index rather than the currency exchange rate to ensure that inventors are awarded fairly across the different countries and prevent situations where awards become lucrative side hassles or hustles that incentivize questionable inventorship claims. You can also consider business unit funding. In certain companies, business units fund the Inventor Awards, creating a natural accountability and ensuring alignment with the business objectives. Another big bucket is to use AI to reduce cost. The rise of AI in legal practice presents both opportunities and challenges for budget management. When outside counsel uses AI tools, client expect to see cost savings reflected in. If outside counsels are using those tools, the quality should be better or the same, and the cost savings should be passed on to the client. So if you're used to billing for 10 hours to do a patent application, and now with AI it takes you 2 hours, you should not be charging your client the 10 hours because you didn't work the 10 hours. Now that may have changed if you have a fixed fee arrangement. Then AI would provide a strong incentive for firms to use AI as long as the quality is the same. You also need to do quality control. In-house counsels have expressed frustrations with declining work quality as firms adopt AI. And so I think in-house counsels aren't against the use of AI, but they just need to have proper training and proper usage of the tool and proper review so that the quality is maintained. You can also manage costs by bringing things in-house. And so the decision to keep the work in-house or outsource the work involves several considerations. First is value-added services. Outside counsel should provide expertise beyond what is available in-house. So when in-house counsel picks up the phone, if the outside counsel lacks the knowledge, it can't work more than what the in-house counsel does. Outside counsel can also be used to solve bandwidth constraints. So even when in-house teams have the expertise, bandwidth limitations may necessitate outsourcing. That is a reason to send the work outside. You should also have a strategy on AI adoption. Companies that can increasingly bring in AI-assisted work in-house rather than paying outside counsel rates for AI-generated content. For example, if you're outsourcing all your legal work to a computer, the client can buy that license as well, and they are being pitched by the AI software company. So law firm outside counsels should focus on areas where they have value rather than just simply applying AI to the work product. So we have some practical recommendations for budget optimization. For in-house counsels, you audit your vendors regularly. and get the job to be done on every single vendor, and you'll be surprised at what you're paying for. You should limit contractor use. Don't overuse contractors to try to get the permanent headcount. There's also the problem with revolving door contractors, and the legal department loses so much time and energy going through that recruiting process over and over again. You should map assets to business initiatives. Ensure every IP asset connects to a specific business objective or roadmap to justify the cost. You should encourage abandonment. Value outside counsel who proactively recommend abandoning weak applications. In-house counsels love firms that are telling their client the truth on certain weak applications that need to be abandoned. That way, the in-house counsel can stay qualitative and reinvest the money in other areas. For outside counsels, we need to demonstrate value beyond AI. At Patent PC, we show expertise complement AI tools rather than being replaced by them. Clients are paying for legal judgment, so we make sure that we give the clients legal judgment. The outside counsels need to also prepare thoroughly for Inventor meetings. In general, clients appreciate that when a lawyer having a disclosure meeting with inventors, they are prepared, and that way it saves the time for the inventor and also avoids embarrassment of asking questions that could have been researched in advance. Outside counsels also pass on the AI cost savings. At Patent PC, our fees reflect the efficiency gains from AI tools in our billing practices so that we maintain client trust and standards. And we also tell our client that we use AI. Effective budget management extends beyond cost cutting to strategic resource allocation. IP professionals should transition from a firefighting mode into a fire warden mode. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure, by that analogy. By implementing a proactive compliance program, educating stakeholders about IP values, and strategically leveraging human expertise and technological AI tools, legal departments can optimize budgets while delivering maximum value to their organizations. If you have any additional questions on how to stretch your budget, feel free to visit patentpc.com and request a meeting with us. We're glad to answer your questions on how to make your dollars run further. Thank you.